would you say white people benefit from white privilege?
Yeah, there's definitely quite a lot of ways. I think one of the more specific ones is the fact that white slave-owning families were still being compensated up until 2015, and one of the more recognisable families was actually David Cameron's. It's crazy to think that they were still compensating for their ancestors' oppressors, and which is of course just mad. And another way you could benefit again is you get the choice whether you acknowledge the fact that racism is a thing or not, because again it doesn't affect you. You could just live your life and never have to care about it, and that's quite a big one for me personally. And also representation is definitely an issue, because white people have a lot of representation in the media, but when it comes to black people it's often that they're demonized, which is again very sad. And an example of that is the protests, because these were just protests of people really wanting to be heard, really wanting a voice, yet they were portrayed as violent thugs. And that's very you can see the stark contrast really. And the fact that when the Churchill statue was defaced a few years ago, the government didn't do much, but now they're taking such steps to protect it from, again, these violent thugs. So you can just really see the fact that, again, that white privilege coming into play and the lack of representation just really affecting the black BAME community.
How would you say systemic racism manifests itself in today's society?
Yeah, I think an example of systemic racism in the government especially is through the Prime Minister actually, and how he's made numerous comments about black children, about Muslim women. That just makes all other forms of racism okay almost, because if the people at the top, at the very, very top, won't take responsibility and apologise, then why should anyone else? And it's actually everywhere, genuinely. Through the COVID pandemic, we've seen that black people are more affected. Why is that? Again, it's that whole precedent set by racism.